Why does PS5 firmware stay after a factory reset? Imagine powering on your PlayStation 5 after performing what you believed was a complete reset, only to find that certain settings and system versions remains unchanged. This common experience can be puzzling, leading many to wonder why some data seems to persist despite efforts to erase it. The key reason lies in how the PlayStation 5 manages system software and firmware updates. When you perform a factory reset, the console typically restores its user data, settings, and installed applications to their original state. However, the core system firmware, which is responsible for the fundamental operation of the console, is stored in a separate, protected partition of the internal storage. This partition is designed to be resilient against standard resets to ensure the device maintains its ability to function correctly and securely. Firmware updates are usually delivered through official updates from Sony, the manufacturer of the PlayStation 5. These updates are stored in a dedicated system partition that is not overridden during a factory reset. Instead, the reset primarily targets user data and temporary files, leaving the essential system files intact. This approach prevents potential issues that could arise from removing or corrupting core system components, which could render the console inoperable. Additionally, the firmware version installed on the console is often checked during startup. If the system detects that the firmware is outdated or needs to be updated, it prompts the user to download and install the latest version. This process ensures that the console remains secure, compatible with new games, and equipped with the latest features. In some cases, users might notice that after a reset, the firmware version appears unchanged, even if they attempted to revert to an earlier version. This is because Sony's system design prioritizes security and stability, preventing users from downgrading firmware to versions that might be vulnerable or incompatible. To completely remove or change the firmware, users would need to perform a more advanced process called firmware reinstallation or recovery, which involves connecting the console to a computer and using specialized software. However, this is typically reserved for troubleshooting severe issues and is not part of standard reset procedures. In summary, the PlayStation 5 firmware remains after a factory reset because it is stored in a protected partition that is intentionally preserved to ensure the system's security, stability, and functionality. This design choice helps maintain the integrity of the console while allowing for regular updates and improvements through official channels.